CCP's first law revision in 40 years, analysis suggests she guards against being liquidated. No donkey meat and donkey meat roast, China's black industry chain is shocking. Battery shelf life is about to expire, millions of electric vehicles in China will be in trouble. Chinese goods sneak into America through Backdoor, Trump to deal fatal blow to Beijing. It's all covered in today's China Truths. CCP's first law revision in 40 years, analysis suggests she guards against being liquidated. Recently, Xi Jinping, the paramount leader of the Chinese Communist Party, enacted a presidential order that brought the revised State Council Organization law into force. This law now explicitly establishes Xi Jinping's authority over the State Council in legal terms. Experts claim that Xi Jinping is taking precautions to avoid being liquidated in the future. For the first time in 40 years since December 1982, the State Council Organization law has been amended. The revision includes a clause that unequivocally asserts the State Council's commitment to the leadership of the Chinese Communist Party, guided by Xi's thought. Tang Jingyuan, a commentator on Chinese affairs living in the United States, shared insights with Central Broadcasting, pointing out that the Chinese Communist Party has significantly reduced the State Council's authority by amending its operational rules, effectively removing its power to make decisions. This move, now made permanent through legislation, aims to solidify the existing governance framework. The legislation's purpose is to maintain the system indefinitely, ensuring that if a time comes when Xi Jinping is no longer in office, his chosen successor will still hold considerable influence, thus ensuring that Xi's policies remain unchallenged and he himself is protected from being overturned or liquidated. The commentator noted that from the era of Mao Zedong, each CCP leader harbored a significant fear of their actions being overturned posthumously. Mao Zedong, deeply worried that the Cultural Revolution would be overturned after his death, appointed Hua Guofeng as his successor. Deng Xiaoping feared the overturning of the events of June 4, and Jiang Zemin was concerned about his crackdown on Falun Gong being overturned. This indicates that every CCP leader, with blood on their hands, was deeply afraid of historical judgment after their departure from power. As a result, they sought trusted individuals to follow in their footsteps, employing various strategies to ensure their successors could prevent any form of posthumous accountability. By revising the State Council Organization law, Tang Jingyuan argues, the role of the Prime Minister has been effectively nullified, with a significant share of the State Council's decision-making power now resting directly with Xi Jinping. This strategic legislative change consolidates Xi's control, ensuring his dominance over China's governmental and political landscape. This essentially means Xi Jinping controls all the crucial CCP positions, including being the General Secretary of the CCP, Chairman of the Central Military Commission, and Premier of the State Council. Mr. Tang forecasts a reduction in the State Council's functions, focusing mainly on the economy, rural areas, or civil administration. Public security, defense, and foreign affairs might no longer be within the State Council's jurisdiction. This implies that the Ministers of National Defense and Foreign Affairs may not continue as state councilors, effectively placing defense and foreign affairs directly under Xi Jinping's control, with the party system making the decisions. Mr. Tang thinks that future official policies will likely be characterized by arbitrariness and uncertainty, completely at the mercy of Xi Jinping's preferences. This could lead to abrupt policy changes, exacerbating societal tensions and triggering more substantial social upheavals. No donkey meat and donkey meat roast, China's black industry chain is shocking. Recent investigations by mainland Chinese media have exposed a shocking clandestine operation in Hebei province dedicated to the production of counterfeit donkey meat. Uncovered in the small town of Changfeng, governed by Rinqiu City, these fraudulent practices involve the transformation of horse and low-cost sow meat into fake donkey meat within filthy workshops. Employing additives known for their carcinogenic properties, such as donkey meat flavoring paste and sodium nitrite, these operations not only compromise health standards but also feed into a nationwide black market for counterfeit meats. The Beijing News released an investigative report revealing how these workshops, operating under unsanitary conditions, managed to produce thousands of pounds of this faux donkey meat each month. The investigative team, disguised as potential buyers, infiltrated a number of these operations, documenting the grim reality of the production process. Workshops were found to be in deplorable condition, with blood and waste littering the floors, showcasing a flagrant disregard for hygiene. In Yangtuan Village, one workshop spanned several hundred square meters, equipped with marinating zones and mixing equipment. Here, workers were observed handling meat in conditions far from clean, with the product eventually marketed as high-quality donkey meat at significantly lower prices. A few workers were seen marinating meat, and the workshop had over 1,000 pounds of donkey meat freshly out of the pot. The owner claimed they could produce 1,600 pounds of donkey meat daily, with the cheapest donkey meat selling for just 9 yuan per pound, about $1.25. Similarly, another workshop located in Nanzhuang Village was situated in the courtyard of the owner's house, similarly dirty and disorderly. The cold storage is separated from the dry toilet by only a colored steel plate. Gift boxes, bottled additives, and bagged starch are scattered everywhere. The finished product storage area's floor and shelves are piled with donkey meat packaged in transparent vacuum bags. The owner disclosed that most of the so-called donkey meat is derived from what's termed number 2 meat, with its retail price varying between 12 to 18 yuan per catty depending on quality. This counterfeit donkey meat, made from horse or mule meat, is sold for 35 yuan, about $4.93 per catty, starkly contrasting the 90 yuan, about $12.69 per catty rate for real, fresh donkey meat and 40 yuan, about $5.64 for the frozen variety. 1 catty is equal to 1.1 pounds. Number 2 meat comes from the front legs of older sows, chosen for its tough texture and coarse fibers, mimicking real donkey meat's consistency. Journalists discovered that larger facilities openly identify as food processing plants, listing processing donkey meat, horse meat, pork among their services. A local factory owner confirmed the area hosts 40 to 50 such operations, though exact numbers are elusive. These workshops in Changfeng town are heavily fortified, complete with high walls, locked gates, guard dogs, and surveillance cameras. Investigations revealed varying methods and recipes across workshops for producing fake donkey meat, affecting the taste of these imposter products. Common to all, however, is the use of donkey meat flavor enhancers, sodium nitrite, and spices to replicate the authentic taste and look of donkey meat. An R&D specialist in meat products from Hebei, with over 20 years' experience, highlighted the role of sodium nitrite in meat coloring. Treated products adopt a red coloration resembling real donkey meat, boosting their appeal. In contrast, untreated meats darken quickly, becoming visually unappealing. This reliance on sodium nitrite significantly surpasses food safety norms, underscoring the reckless practices within the counterfeit meat industry. According to a supplier of seasonings who sells sodium nitrite, the national guideline allows only 75 grams per 1,000 catty, but some facilities use over 100 grams, others over 200 grams, or even half a catty, around 0.55 pounds. Otherwise, the desired color won't be achieved. This February, undercover reporters sent off 2 donkey meat samples they bought in Changfeng town for lab analysis. The findings revealed both samples were actually pork, without any trace of donkey meat. Additionally, the levels of sodium nitrite residue in both exceeded the national safety limits, with the highest recorded at 110 mg per kilogram, over 2.6 times above the standard. Experts in the field have warned that ingesting high levels of sodium nitrite could lead to acute poisoning, showcasing symptoms akin to those of gas poisoning, such as bluish lips, nausea, and vomiting, potentially fatal in severe cases. Regularly consuming meats high in sodium nitrite residue might heighten the risk for various gastrointestinal cancers, including those of the esophagus, stomach, and intestines. During their investigation, the journalists also stopped by 2 express logistics centers in Changfeng town. One site's staff shared that they ship out 1 to 2 tons of meat nationwide each day, packing it in big bags of 100 catty, multiple bags at a time. These fake donkey meat products are then distributed all over the country via logistics and box trucks. Beyond express delivery, Changfeng Town has numerous light commercial vans tasked with delivering to donkey meat stuffed bun shops in Beijing, Tianjin, Shandong, and surrounding areas. These vans all have their windows covered with either black or colored privacy film, making it impossible to see inside. Eventually, most of this counterfeit donkey meat makes its way to food stores, where it's turned into donkey meat stuffed buns and sold. A veteran shop owner in Beijing, with nearly 2 decades of experience, explained, genuine fresh donkey meat costs 90 yuan per caddy, and each stuffed bun requires 8 yuan worth of meat, leading to a cost of about 10 yuan per stuffed bun. Even using frozen donkey meat costs 6 to 7 yuan. But producing a stuffed bun with counterfeit donkey meat costs less than 2 yuan. With real donkey meat, the profit margin is around 30%, but it soars to 70% with fake meat. This lucrative margin is what drives the widespread counterfeit donkey meat industry. The issue has sparked extensive discussion among Chinese netizens, following media reports and related posts on Weibo. Battery shelf life is about to expire. Millions of electric vehicles in China will be in trouble. The battery shelf life of China's first batch of new energy vehicles is about to expire. NIO Chairman Li Bin recently shouted at a forum on the development prospects of electric vehicles that Chinese batteries are expensive and short-lived. In detail, on March 16, speaking at the 2024 China Electric Vehicles 100 Forum held in Beijing, Li Bin said that the shelf life of most new energy vehicle batteries in China is now 8 years or 120,000 kilometers, and in fact it needs 70% of battery health. Once it falls below 70%, battery performance will drop sharply, causing safety issues. He said that it is estimated that from 2025 to 2032, China will have more than 19.4 million new energy vehicles whose batteries exceed their shelf life and will face the problem of battery replacement. However, Chinese batteries are expensive. If it is a plug-in hybrid car with 30 kilowatt-hours of electricity consumption, it will cost 60,000 yuan to replace the battery. If it has 40 kilowatt-hours of electricity consumption, it will cost 86,000 yuan. This situation may prompt some car owners to consider whether to replace the battery or replace the car. Li Bin said that although the industry has worked hard to solve battery safety, battery life, charging efficiency and cost issues in the past few years, battery life standards have not improved. China's new energy vehicle production and sales account for more than 60% of the world's total. For China's electric vehicle industry, it is urgent to solve the problem of expensive batteries and short lifespan. According to public information, currently, in China, 60,000 yuan, about $8,463, is only the price of a general hybrid vehicle battery. If it is a pure electric vehicle, the battery price is even more expensive. For example, the battery replacement price of a Tesla Model 3 manufactured in China is 126,900 yuan, nearly $18,000, which is almost half the price of buying a new car. On the other hand, the service life of power batteries made in China is usually only a few 100,000 kilometers. Once the battery declines below 70% and is not replaced, it will be difficult for the electric vehicle itself to continue to operate normally. According to an article on the Chinese car magazine Chaojin, once the battery of an electric vehicle falls below 70%, the battery pack will be unable to achieve stable output. As long as one of the batteries fails, the other batteries will follow. The battery shelf life of the average Chinese car company is only about 6 years. And the battery shelf life of the leading company CATL is only about 8 years. To make matters worse, due to substandard battery quality, spontaneous battery combustion accidents frequently occur in Chinese-made electric vehicles. In late September 2023, Yin Fengmin, Deputy Director of the Online Transaction Supervision Department of the State Administration for Market Regulation of China, spoke at the Global Automotive New Ecological Development Conference. An average of 8 new energy vehicles spontaneously ignite in China every day, and the Emergency Department statistics data shows that in the first quarter of 2023 alone, the spontaneous combustion rate of new energy vehicles increased by 32%. Chinese goods sneak into America through Backdoor, Trump to deal fatal blow to Beijing. China's current surge in exports to Mexico raises suspicions that a considerable portion of these shipments may be destined for the United States, suggesting Mexico could serve as a backdoor for Chinese goods entering the American market. Zenita, a freight platform, published a blog post on March 15, citing data from container trade statistics, which showed that container shipments from China to Mexico in January of this year increased by nearly 60% compared to the same period last year. The annual growth rate of container shipping between China and Mexico soared to 34.8% in 2023, compared to just 3.5% in 2022. Since the fourth quarter of 2022, global trade has been slowing down, making China's export boom to Mexico noteworthy. This suggests that the growth in Chinese exports to Mexico may not solely be due to Mexican demand. Peter Sand, chief analyst at Zenita, remarked, "This could be one of the world's fastest-growing trades, further fueling suspicions that Mexico has become a backdoor for Chinese goods entering the U.S." A significant portion of the goods arriving in Mexico by sea may be transported by truck to the U.S., raising suspicions that the observed trade growth is due to importers attempting to circumvent U.S. tariffs. Former U.S. President Trump initiated a trade war against China around 2018, imposing high tariffs on a range of Chinese imports. The tariff measures during the Trump era have changed the dynamics of U.S.-China trade, prompting companies to alter their supply chain strategies. According to a report by Business Insider last April, Mexico is becoming one of the primary destinations for Chinese manufacturers to shift production, particularly because the U.S. is a major consumer market. Bloomberg reported in February that Chinese auto parts manufacturers have started setting up factories in Mexico to meet demand as Tesla prepares to build its plant in the country. The Wall Street Journal also reported that sources revealed Shenzhen-based automaker BYD is scouting for factory locations in Mexico, considering exporting cars to the U.S. Producing cars for the U.S. in Mexico allows automakers to bypass the high import tariffs levied when importing cars directly from China. Trump vows to impose 100% tariffs on Chinese-made cars in Mexico. Last year, Mexico surpassed China as the United States' primary trading partner, as per data from the U.S. Department of Commerce. However, if Trump returns to the White House, this dynamic might change. During a campaign rally in Vandalia, Ohio on March 16, Trump declared that if elected president in November, he would implement 100% tariffs on cars produced by Chinese firms in Mexico. Earlier this month, Trump had floated the idea of imposing a 50% tariff on Chinese cars. He also proposed tariffs as high as 60% on all Chinese goods and 10% on products made anywhere globally. Trump asserted that he is unconcerned about potential retaliation from the CCP or other nations. Notably, both U.S. presidential candidates are endeavoring to demonstrate a tougher stance against the CCP. President Biden took action on February 29 this year to block Chinese electric cars from entering the U.S. market. Biden cited national security risks posed by internet-connected vehicles from China, which could transmit sensitive information to the CCP government. In response, the U.S. Department of Commerce promptly launched a security threat investigation, potentially leading to new regulations or restrictions on cars manufactured in China. Government officials emphasized that this represents just the initial step, with various countermeasures set to be introduced to prevent the influx of low-cost Chinese electric cars into the U.S. market, whether produced in China or assembled by Chinese firms in Mexico and other nations. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.